Hey guys, Rick here at Healing Field Farm. Today let's talk a little bit about guinea hens. Um, you know, you hear that they're great at getting ticks and other bugs in your yard, and they are, but there's a lot of things you should know before you make that commitment to this animal. They are not like chickens. They're actually from the turkey family, not the chicken family. So we'll go through some facts about them. You guys can make a solid decision based on this stuff. So they do need to start out like a chick, like a regular baby chicken, with a heat lamp and pellet and crumbles and stuff like that. That being said, medicated crumbles are toxic to them, so you do not want to feed them medicated food. Okay, they will grow to about the size of a chicken. Full grown, they'll weigh about 4 pounds. There are many different variants of them, and with those variants come different temperaments. So do your research on that and make sure, because some are more aggressive than others, some are more docile, but they all kind of have a wild nature, because they are wild birds in general. So, and they're not really easily groomed to be, like a chicken, where they kind of trained. So they have a mind of their own. They're not the most intelligent bird. They are semi-wild, and they do not thrive in confinement. They like to be able to be free and to forage on their own, and they'll forage pretty much their whole diet. So they are seasonal layers. They'll lay from March to April through September to October, and they'll give you about 100 eggs a year. But their eggs are much smaller than a chicken's, and they are very rich to the taste. So be aware of that. That may not be an egg that you want to necessarily eat. Okay, they're not the best mothers. They'll generally just lay their eggs anywhere. It doesn't really matter to them. They'll just lay their egg and then go do their business. So if they are free range, you may just find guinea hen eggs everywhere. If they do get broody, they will form a nest, but they can also be communal layers, which means they'll all lay in the same nest, and they'll even take turns sitting on that nest. So, it may be one guinea hen for a couple hours and then another guinea hen. The males will generally stand guard and protect that nest if that does happen. So they can be with other chickens. They do prefer to be free range. Maybe you get some chickens that are free range. They can be put in a coop. They prefer not to. And if you're going to put them in a coop at night, they do not like to go into dark places. So they want to see a light when they're going into some place. So you don't need a heat lamp or anything, but just a light bulb or something, just to entice them that it's okay to go in there. If you do keep them together in the coops, you do need to keep the males separated, because the males will both be territorial, doesn't matter the breed, and they'll fight. So you don't want that. Okay, their eggs will take 26 to 28 days to hatch. So if you do have a broody hen and they're gonna hatch out, or maybe you want to collect the eggs and hatch them out yourself if you have a male guinea hen, and it'll take 26-28 days. We discussed medicated feed is toxic, so all ages, so please be careful with that. And then they are great at getting rid of ticks, insects, snakes, and rodents. And they're very chatty, and just them being chatty and making their calls, that will actually help deter rodents in the area too. So if you have a lot of ticks in your field or in your woods, they're great to get out there, and they'll eat thousands a day. So they'll quickly take care of any tick problem you have, and they're great to put in the garden. They're not going to pay too much attention to your vegetables per se, as they'll go after the bugs. So they do make great security alarms. They can be very, very loud, especially when threatened. So keep that in mind, depending, how you're zoned residentially. If you're you know, the hens can be just as loud as a rooster, so you may get complaints. They do have a 10 to 15 year lifespan, where chicken could be anywhere from 4 to 6. So be aware, you know, this is a commitment to this bird. You know, if this is what you're getting. So 10 to 15 years, that's a long life. You know, most dogs live about that. So they are very hardy and resistant, but they can get some viral diseases. So be careful of that. Be careful mixing your flocks. You don't want to spread diseases. They do become tamer when they're raised with chickens, but they are dominant and they will run the coop. They will walk around that coop like they own that place. Even some instances where roosters are in there, they'll just stay up on the roost while these birds are, you know, running the coop. So keep that in mind too. They do have a mind of their own, and they would rather free range. They would rather, you know, fly up to the trees at night, and they can fly, similar to a turkey. When a turkey takes roost, you know, 30-40 feet up in a tree, they can get up there. So be aware of that, because they will fly. They'll fly over your pens, and they'll go where they want, really, unless you keep them in some kind of like chicken tractor or completely enclosed area. So they do not domesticate well. They have tried for hundreds and hundreds of years, and these birds just stick to their wild nature. So they can be tamed, like I said before, but that you know, wild nature is very strong in them, and it thrives. So it can be a challenge sometimes. So it's not, don't think you're going to get one of these birds and it's going to be nice and you're going to pick it up. They don't like to be held. They just want to do their own thing. So they're completely opposite mindset of a chicken. Okay, they do like to stay in close-knit groups, and they will take off if you let them. So if you get some, the best rule of thumb is when they're, you know, out of their hatching box and they're ready to go up to your pen or whatever, to keep them penned and release one a day, and then slowly release another one like the next day or day after, because they will stay together. They will stay with their flock. But if you let them all out at once, they're just gonna leave, and they're gonna be in trees, they're gonna be in neighbors' yards, where they're gonna decide what their territory is, and they're gonna leave. So you kind of have to train them to where their home is, where their food is. So release one day, maybe a couple days later, release another one with it, and that way they'll know where their home is. Okay. They will fly like a turkey into the trees. They can fly, and they fly very high. They're very fast. They don't necessarily look it. They look a little top heavy, but they're very, very fast. If you're catching them, you should use a net, or you should grab them by the wings. Do not grab them by the legs. They're very delicate, and they will break, and you definitely do not want that, because a guinea hen with one leg is not going to be helpful at all. And so just be careful. You know, use a net, grab them by the wings if you have to catch them. Okay. And then, like I said, you can coop them, but they do prefer to be free. And if you do coop them, you know, keep a light in there so it will be easier to get them to go in. But generally, they would just rather be free. They will, if you have, you know, a good size area, they'll just fly up into the trees and they'll roost there for the night. So they are very low maintenance. They will forage for themselves. You know, obviously make sure they have some water somewhere. But for the most part, they'll take care of themselves, and you know, they're a very easy bird to raise. They just come with a lot of headaches sometimes between the noise and doing their own thing. So I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Hope you guys can get some stuff out of this. Thank you for watching. Please give us a subscribe, and we will talk soon. Have a good day.